Hi, friends. I am that I am, Sarah of sovereign mind and biological autonomy. My thoughts are my own, and my body responds only to my own consciousness. Wow. Wow. Living the Atlantean dream and working for Kuthumi and crowd. This is the April satsang, April 2025. Things are moving so fast. They're moving so fast. Oh, someone must be thinking about me because my nose itches. All right. I've got my cup of coffee. I have this new microphone. So if you see it's not a preacher or something, it's a fuzzy microphone, hopefully to make the audio quality better for you all. Coffee, essential. So in the March satsang, what did Kuthumi tell us, right? What did Kuthumi tell us? Kuthumi said, it's go time. My name is Kuthumi Lao Singh, and I know how to make light. So to make light, Kuthumi says, you both have to make light within your body from the fountain within, which he showed us in 2020 in the Living in the Garden of New Life series. And then we really deepened it through the Era of the Magus series, through the Rhythm of Further, and through the New Human Database. Those were all Kuthumi programs that ran over the last 5 years. He was trying to get our bodies and our minds and our spirits and the subtle energy subatomic particles in the body ready for this new light, right? But you can only do so much on for you. There's also what's happening in all of creation. So he worked with us to get our bodies ready for this new light that's here. It's here. Katsumi's so overjoyed. It's here. Finally. Finally. How many curries did he eat while waiting for this new light to be ready? So there's, you need to be flowing from within and really connected to this biological form, have, combed out all the stuff that's happening in the mind, but you can only do so much on your end. The other part is happening out in all of creation. So what members, what ascended masters from the Great White Brotherhood are we going to talk to today? We are going to talk to, these are my nicknames for everybody, for all of the ass-ended masters. We have, today we're going to talk to Coot, we have St. G, and we have Tobias. St. G is short for St. Germain, Coot is short for Kuthumi, and Tobes is what I call Tobias and have forever. So, also known as Sam, SAM, Sovereign Ascended Master. And yeah, so we have those three lovely, demanding, but funny and loving gentlemen from the Great White Brotherhood joining us today. There are women in the Great White Brotherhood. I am that I am Sarah. And eventually we'll hear from them. But this is what we're working with today. So in March, on Ash Wednesday, Kuthumi said, okay, the new light's ready, because he's seeing what's going on in the cosmos, and you guys are what are here on Earth, right? And so we have a lot to cover today. I'm going to use the board. Let's check the board. If we start getting into the mansplanations, the mansplaining, please know that it's not from me. It's from these gentlemen right here. Do not shoot the messenger. So if you'll recall, if you were around, in August 2022, during the Era of the Magus series, I was driving through Mexico and I was hit with the part of myself that is the realm walker, not worker. We'll explain the difference. The realm walker. And I wrote it, I recorded a channel. I performed, because that's what I do for you all. I perform. Da 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 da. Ha. I performed for you. I performed the Return of the Realm Walker channel in August 2022. Once that got wind in the other place, there was all the realm worker stuff. And Kuthumi kept saying, it's not worker, it's walker. Why can't the channeler hear it right? Do not shoot the messenger. Because this is what Kuthumi told me. I was not there. I do not know. I do my best never to watch anything from over there because it just doesn't coincide with what Kutumi's saying. And I want to get the message clear to you all. I'm not criticizing it today. I got new pink nail polish. I was in a pink mood when I went. I could try to balance out all this masculine energy. I'm surrounded by dudes all day long. All right. So we put out that Realmwalker channel and we started, working with those of you who are around and not throwing fits and clinging to your Lucifer version of realization for dear life. Oh, I clung to my realization for dear life too. You're not the only one. I mean, Katumi's like, you gotta let go. You put the trophy on the mantle, let go of your realization, right? Once you have it, don't hang on to it. Don't make a nest. That's what Makyo truly means. Makyo is from Zen Buddhism and it means to make a nest. Don't set up camp. Moria used to say, as soon as you have a mystical experience or direct God connection, don't set up camp, right? Keep going into widening rings of being. Moria's incarnation is Shams Tabrizi. He was Rumi's teacher in that lifetime, and he lived in Iran, Persia. And so he often talks to me in those Sufi riddles, widening rings of being. He said that Rumi was the best student he's probably ever had. I love that. Wonderful. Okay. Ooh, off we go for some mansplanations from Coot, St. G, and Tobes Tobias. I have a really deep connection with him. I talked to him. I actually ran into him in physical form in this life and then both of us had this massive experience. It was very brief, like 30 seconds. Another story for another time. So this is the April 2025 Thought Song. We're talking about Kutumi's Passageway Project and Nervous System Reset. Guess what? Kutumi's Passageway Project and Nervous System Reset are one and the same because your nervous system is a direct representation of the passageways in all of creation. He who made the inner also made the outer. So there's no separation between inner and outer worlds. The nervous system corresponds to the passageways in all of creation. So Kuthumi says we got to clear some stuff up because we have a lot more people here coming from the other place, right? So a lot of times the other place, which has a lot more reach than us, it makes it look like we're copying them because there's thousands and thousands of people who watch that, but we're always a few months ahead. And that's not like a brag or like a whatever, but it's really weird for me because someone will come to me and be like, oh, you're copying. It's like, no, I'm not. You guys are on a time delay. I have direct experiences, then I listen to channels. I don't do a channel and then have a direct experience. It's very, very different. Where you listen to a channel and you try to weave it into your life, or you're living your life, God expressing itself through you fully, like a fire hose, like fiber internet, not dial-up internet. And then the channel just kind of goes, oh, that's what's already happening. So there's a very big difference between the other place and here. We don't take the conceptual stuff and then try to apply it to our life. We're already living our life, and Kuthumi and I and others just point out what's already naturally occurring, right? We don't tell you how it went. You tell us how it went, and then we put it into the materials. Very much channeling you as well. So, Realmwalker. I'm already like, okay, Kuthumi, how much trouble are you going to get me on? Versus worker. First of all, Kuthumi says it was always supposed to be Realmwalker not worker. But oh well, this isn't trademarked, right? So a realm worker is what people are using. This is what this is. Frowny face. Walker, smiley face, right? So Kutumi's saying, let's clear this up because there's a lot of new people here from the other place. A realm worker is a scapegoat. Oh, my life's always been hard, and this is why it's been hard. And I've been, this is why I'm tired all the time. This is why I can't hold a job. All right. So let's not do the realm worker, right? We're talking about realm walkers here. And this is very important for the Passageway Project. And this is why you're called here, because you've already been doing the Passageway Project. Now we're just going to bring it on home in this biological body from the neck down. Realization from the neck down. Embodied Christ consciousness from the neck down. If you upload your body into technology, you can't bring the Christ consciousness to earth. You'll just end up a cartoon and a cartoon graveyard. Bone digger, bone digger. If you don't know that song, you can look it up. So realm walkers. How are the realm walkers formed? A realm walker is your special gift. It's something that's been helpful to you in your life, not a scapegoat for all your human problems. You haven't been able to function in a job and you're tired all the time because you haven't embodied your realization, not because you were a realm worker and that's your excuse for everything, Kuthumi says. All right. And to know what we're doing now, we have to know our history. I love how people ignore their Atlantean history, or they only give little bits and pieces, right? If you don't know your history, you're doomed to repeat it. If you don't know what happened in Atlantis, then you're living out your life now and calling your karmic garbly-gook, you're calling it destiny. If you don't know where you came from in your history, you're living out that karma, but calling it destiny and free will, which is quite funny to us. I'm pulling in so many things in my nervous system from Kuthumi right now. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. Yeah, who knew caffeine would calm you down? All right. So we got to go into the history. Where did these realm walkers come from? How did you become a realm walker? Let's get rid of that worker word and all of the baby stuff associated with. Let's get out of the kiddie pool and let's surf some adult waves. Kuthumi says, let's surf the waves with the adult. All right. He's talking to me. Oh. These are the golden gates to the city in Atlantis, right? This is Atlantis at its peak. Atlantis at its peak. Everything's going well. We're functioning. There is still no sovereignty, and there is no word for alone in the Atlantean vibrational language. The closest language in our modern world to the Atlantean vibrational language is Sanskrit, because the words held so much information and so many light codes. Part of the fall of Atlantis was sending us back into caves without any progress or anything, and without that vibrational language. It was part of the consequence, the punishment, I guess you could say. So these are the golden gates of Atlantis. Oh, let's see if I can. Kuthumi saying draw a castle. I don't know how to draw a castle, Kuthumi. All right. Enter into the golden gates of the peak of the Atlantean Empire, right? A lot of you were there. You were dreamwalkers. Dreamwalkers had their own apartments with their own little gardens, right? The rest of us lived in communal housing, and the dreamwalkers had their special place. But at this peak of Atlantis, the passageways in all of creation were open loop system, right? And we could travel them. We didn't have the karmic reincarnation cycle on Earth that we have now. That was created at the fall of Atlantis, right? So this is the peak of Atlantis. Can you feel it? Can you see the golden gates? All of the passageways were open. And a lot of us, our jobs were to walk through the cosmos and end up back in our beautiful civilization. So it was all open. If you died, you weren't stuck in a reincarnation cycle. There were no souls on a journey. Souls on a journey is karma. Souls on a journey means you're stuck in the reincarnation cycle with the same souls over and over and over again. That is the definition of Shambhar. It's souls on a journey. Eventually, you have to integrate that aspect of yourself to remove yourself from the karmic wheel of souls on a journey and step into your I am, I exist in physical form. Step into your big girl pants, Maury always says. Step into the big girl pants. Do a little squats, create some room, right? So all the passageways to all of creation were open at the peak of the Atlantean civilization. And Kuthumi uses the image of the Golden Gates because you remember how wonderful it was, the golden age of Atlantis. Much like today, things started to change, right? Some beings in Atlantis were very big, right? And some were really small. If I go back in the history from the first lives on Earth in the Garden of the Gods, we were all consciousness and no energy. A tiny bit of energy, Kuthumi says, tiny bit. And there were animals. The consciousness started to mate with the animals, making all sorts of forms. Right? Stuff you don't have in your history books. It makes me really sad that you could spend 20 years somewhere and still not know where you came from. So we're doing our best to fill in the gaps, right? But because there was so much divide between, I was huge. I was 7 feet tall. Moria was even taller because of course he was. But I remember our lifetime before the standardization of the physical body. So, we did the divine blueprint back in March, and the divine blueprint allows people to go back in through our work there, allows people to go back into their Atlantean lifetimes to understand it from a subjective oneness. I can tell you a million things, but if you don't close your eyes, tap into that lifetime and feel into it with ferocious curiosity and ferocious courage. It takes a lot of courage to go look inside, right? But you can feel what it felt like to be in Atlantis and those golden gates. So because of this disconnect, we started fiddling with the biological form. The original template, Adam Cardman template, was made in the image of God, right? Then we started fiddling with it. Man-made body. This is a man-made body. It's a pretty good one. A little small, but pretty good. This is a man-made biology, but I have been altering the carbon of this biology through the light of awareness. Not my light, but the light. We're going to get to that at some point. Right, so we started the standardized form. One of the things that got cut off in the standardized form was Nost. I was a geneticist in one lifetime, and I was basically held at gunpoint to program hierarchy into DNA. I've since gone back into that lifetime and undid it, right? Because all these lifetimes are happening simultaneously. The outcomes are not written in stone. When I work with people, as Sarah, the first thing I do is determine if they drowned in the flood of Atlantis. Because if you drown in the flood at the end of Atlantis, You refused to admit sovereignty was real and it existed. That's the only thing you needed to do not to drown. But it was also quite difficult. We didn't even have the word alone. We didn't have the word sovereign. It was not in our language. We operated as in a group dynamic, so much so that Kuthumi said a group of 12 Atlanteans could be rowing a boat. Someone died, they would just knock the body out of the boat and keep paddling because there was no respect for individual life. Because if someone died, there were still 11 people paddling, thus, they were still alive. Right. So there wasn't a respect for the individual. So this program, all these experiments happened over the course of maybe 5, 6 of your lifetimes. Nost was cut off, the fourth leg of the chair. If you're a Tobias fan like me, I'm a huge Tobias fan. When I read his fourth leg of the chair channel on the Crimson Circle website, I just by reading that channel, I was able to restore the severance, right? Restore the Nost. It's not wisdom. It's not intuition. It's not a soul function. Nost is the creative intelligence of the I am that I am. I exist. It allows you to tap into the dark matter of the unknown unknowns. We'll keep going, right? So there wasn't just a headband. Everyone's like, oh, the headband. There were so many different implants. There was one that went back in the medulla oblongata, right? Those 2 points in the back. Medulla oblongata is Latin for the mouth of God. There was an implant that went in that wouldn't allow you to speak your truth. The only way you could speak was if it agreed with everybody in this like very, very intense collective society. So mass consciousness was created in Atlantis through these headbands, through a variety of other things. I have worked with so many private clients over the years. I've seen so many different implants that we've had to pull out. So, I mean, I could write, this thick book on Atlantean implants and crap that was done in the standardization, more of these, like 20 of these. So we're not going to get to it all today. I do work with people one-on-one, but you have to, okay. You got to jump through some hoops to get there, because I don't do psychic readings. I don't read people's energy. I show you how to do it for yourself. It takes a lot. There's no instant results. All the stuff that Kuthumi and I teach is not an instant result. It's not happening conceptually. It's happening in your biology from the neck down. So it's not going to happen in 2 seconds. It's going to take 2 years, right, to cultivate it so you don't blast yourself. So long, like if you wanted to sit down in my living room and listen to me tell you the whole history of Atlantis, I would sit there like holding Shiva almost for 7 days and 7 nights and just go on and on. I mean, that's how much information is coded in my biology. When everyone's like, how do you know all this stuff? Who taught it to you? I'm actually literally pulling the DNA strands apart in my body to bring all this information out to you, because it exists in my DNA. DNA is, St. G's here, he's like, DNA is also how you connect your biological fluid form to your light body form, creating the new human species. And this body of light that everyone used to be interested in until there was another shiny object and a distraction. Kuthumi says so many of people are coming here in June, July. And I said, subject to mob consciousness, all to go off the rails, all a mob consciousness needs is a catchphrase and a rabbit hole. You give them a catchphrase, and then they'll go down the rabbit hole. But we're talking to you, sovereign beings who aren't attracted to the next shiny object. Let's run that way, right? Remember, light body was all the rage in 2021, and now we're on something totally different, right? None of it was actually integrated into the biology. It's all just hanging out in a conceptual cloud. The biology is the energy piece in the new energy equation. So through this standardized form one of the women we work with, the people we work with are amazing. They're all teachers. They teach me everything. So this lovely being, I won't say her name, she said that in her Atlantean lifetime, she went back and her job was to pack the headbands into boxes. I have the energy in my throat. It starts coming up. Oh, James at Master's Corner posted a video about feeling into the Christ consciousness coming to Earth. And he had all that phlegm coming up in his throat chakra. It's really clearing it out so you can speak your truth. James, I loved that video, by the way. It was the purest form of art that I have seen in a very long time. Thank you. I'll put the link below if anyone has missed it. So she's in this lifetime and the headbands are there, and she remembers someone put it on who was also packing the boxes, kind of like an assembly line, and they couldn't take it off, right? But she said the ones who could take it on and off, it was like relative reality, absolute reality, relative reality, absolute reality, relative reality, absolute reality, right? So putting the headband on created the relative reality we find ourselves trapped in today. Unless you're me, I don't feel trapped in relative reality. I am free flowing because of my Realmwalker skills. Stay with me. I'm going to bring it all together. I promise. I'm going to tell you what Tobias is doing. I'm going to tell you what St. G's doing. I have Kuthumi in my body with me. So we're speaking to you as Sarah and Kuthumi combined as one, and you. Kutumi's like, they're in here too. Running so much energy through my body, especially with Kuthumi in. You burn a lot of calories. You burn so many calories. It's so hard to keep weight on at this point. Yesterday, I ate a giant raspberry chocolate cake, and I had to get one kilo back on, or somewhere around there. All right. So this headband was so interesting. Eventually it wouldn't come off, and eventually you didn't even need the headband. Babaji tells me that there were families in far, far away villages, far away from the Golden Gates, from the main hub, like a New York City. There's the Golden Gates, the headquarters of Atlantis, like a New York City, out in the far reaches in Tamil Nadu, which never was covered by water during any of these things. Tamil Nadu is like that south point of India. So never eat shredded wheat. Southeast corner of India. I have all of my learning disability tricks. Do you guys have that? Never eat shredded wheat. So I know north, south, east, and west. Oh, I'm so dyslexic. In the last Sot song, I told you that it was 5 fish and 2 loaves of bread. It was 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. That's how dyslexic I am. I am so in the box, open loop mind system. So it's really hard for me to pull things in. All right. So Babaji says that even though there were no headbands in Tamil Nadu, that the babies started being born into the standardized bodies, because that's it combined with mass consciousness. This all makes sense to me, and Kuthumi assures me that it makes sense to you because you are advanced and discerning adepts. But right, so this headband had huge implications, and because the passageways to all of creation were open up, not Earth wasn't in this like self-contained little structure. Some beings from another place in creation decided that they wanted to come take over Earth, and they were going to use the headband to manipulate, right? To create slave jobs and everything else, kind of like you would see in Dune, the movie Dune, or Star Wars, right? So towards the end of Atlantis, things were really bad, fires and floods. Tamil Nadu never sunk, by the way. We have a video about that. It's going to be on our new website, which we're working on really hard right now. Coming soon to a computer near you. Right. So we had Earth, and then we had all these various passageways, right, in all of creation. Earth's not the center of creation, right? Just like your little I identity is not the center of who you are. But for a story, so these people, he looks pretty gross, right? We're using the headbands designed by the temples of Tan people to try to take over Earth. So the emperors and empresses, Moria, myself, Kuthumi, maybe you, we decided that we needed to, it was either let these dudes take over and turn you into robot humanoid nastiness, or we were going to flood the whole thing and start over to save Earth. And we decided to flood everything, burn it all down. Millions and millions and millions of people died. We decided to do that because we had discovered something called love, which was created by bringing energy and consciousness together. If we could bring energy and consciousness together, we created this thing called love, and no one else in all of creation had it. So we sacrificed, because this is the nature of duality, we sacrificed all those lives to preserve love, to preserve love. There's no way to tell how long I've been recording. I just don't know. So I'm just going to go with it, right? Let's see. He's saying do a timeline. August. This is the history of the Realmwalker. You have to have all this background to know where the Realmwalker came from. I don't know why the other place can't get that, because then I could retire. Gives my voice a second to 2022. All right. So in this collapse of the Atlantean civilization, in a swirl of fire and flood, where those who could claim their sovereignty survived to continue on, and those who couldn't went back into the reincarnation cycle. What happened was Earth became a self-contained area. And let's put the reincarnation cycle. So you're stuck in these realms. We covered the realms in the February 2025 song. We're doing all this history to build you up to now. If we can keep your attention for more than about 5 minutes before there's another catchphrase and a rabbit hole. The catchphrase takes you down the rabbit hole. And we try to come up with some catchphrases that don't have rabbit holes, like open to all like a big red ball. Open to all like a big red ball. Is this thing still green? Yes. All right. This is my first time using it for a public thing, so forgive me. So Earth became the self-contained thing. What happened? We didn't only cut off Nost in the biological body. Whose idea was that, by the way? Wow. Whoever did that's got some karma to clear up. You know how you clear up that karma? You were the one who severed Nost. You restore Nost in yourself, and that undoes everything you ever did wrong. I am forgiveness, right? So the flood caused this to be cut off. Here's creation, right? This big barrier went up, and that kept the creeps that I drew, the little creeps, This kept the creeps from getting in, right? But it also created this huge reincarnation cycle, and Earth became planet learn a lesson. So if someone came to Earth, they said, oh, I'm just going to have one lifetime on Earth and go back. No, they're not. They have to go through this whole reincarnation cycle process. So in 2022, as Sarah, I was with Yeshua, and I remembered the Realmwalker part of myself, right? So what happened was when this wall went down between Earth and the rest of creation, half of you, 50% of your makeup or more, it just depends, right? But half of you, for the sake of story, it could be 40%, whatever, was stuck on this side, right? And then the rest of you was stuck on this side in this reincarnation cycle, right? So the collapse of Atlantis created a barrier between Earth and all of creation. Half of you got stuck. Remember, I drew the golden gates and I said there were everybody was dream walking and the passageways to all of creation were open up. So when this collapsed, some of you, some parts and pieces of you, some aspects of yourself, I prefer parts and pieces, were stuck on the other side. When Heaven's Cross started to become a reality, like the potential of it started to kind of into matter, into this earth. Wow, Kuthumi. When it started, because enough of you were on earth right now, is how that opened, right? It started to make this thinner, this divide between earth and the rest of creation. The veil started to thin. And on March 23rd, 2023, that veil thinned so much that those parts and pieces of yourself were now available to pick up. Some people left the physical form here on earth to go join their parts and pieces in all of creation. Tobias, Sam, I almost went to. It was very, very tempting. If you go back into our archives, I haven't taken it down because anytime I go through something that's messy, I don't want to polish it. I want to show you what it was like. In 2023, when Sam left, I almost left too. It was very, very tempting. It was taking all that I had. My dog Juniper, I don't know if you could see him, his little head sleepy down there. I would wake up and my dog is 5 feet tall on his hind legs and I'm 5 feet tall. 5'2". He would like just hang himself over my body. I even put out my retirement message. I gave the materials to someone else so they could keep them in the technology after I was gone. You know, it was really hard. So if you're still here on earth, namaste on earth, thank you. We need you. Thank you. So this realm walker part of you is part of this Christ consciousness experience, is what we're trying to tell you, right? So you have those of us on earth. Look, with our little bodies, we have to have feet. You need feet to bring the Christ consciousness to earth. You need them. You need to be walking on earth, using your realm walker skills to put them on earth, right? And let's do the Kuthumi saying, walk like an Egyptian. Okay. Most of you are too young to even know that song, Walk Like an Egyptian. Kuthumi, you need some younger people references. Right? So here's part of you that's out and about. Like for me, I found out when this started happening, I had this deep experience. And, I thought it was just a personal experience because Cece hadn't said anything, Kuthumi hadn't said anything. But I found myself, I was on a sailboat with Yeshua in another part of creation, like the far edges of creation. And my dog had died. And he was on the boat. Professor Ollie, if anybody remembers Professor Ollie, he is an ascended master dog. Like, I have the best friends who get me stuff like that. right? So I realized, okay, I need to bring these parts and pieces of myself back. So I, sailed it back, and there I was. And I will put that channel up, the Return of the Realmwalker channel up, so you can hear about my experience. Not the only reason I share my experiences is because I know that they're going to jog that memory of yours, and you're going to go, oh, I did that too. I'm already doing this. Right? That's why I tell my story. So there's application, and then you can see it for yourself. These parts and pieces are a part of the Christ consciousness. They were paving the way. Look, that's a foot. Those are your footprints, right? So you were walking through all of creation, exploring all of creation, right? And kind of split. Eventually you have to get back, but you were preparing the way for the Christ consciousness, because the whole big pie in the sky, right? We're trying to fix this is what we were trying to do in Atlantis. Now we have another chance, as long as we don't get distracted by uploading our likeness. How important do you have to think you are to try to raise millions of dollars to upload your likeness into the technology? Let's focus on this. Let's focus on this. So all these Realmwalker pieces were paving the way for the Christ consciousness to come back to Earth, to go out to all of creation. So you've done your job out in all of creation, right? You brought your Realmwalker pieces that were free flowing in Atlantis before this reincarnation cycle started happening, which we covered in the February satsang, right? So your job now, I think you already know this. If you don't, this is an invitation. We're not telling you what to do. But let me just talk like your job now. If you choose, Kuthumi is saying your job now is to get all of this, the whole thing, into this biological form in 2025, right? So bring all those pieces back, integrate it all into this body in 2025. You do that, you're going to be a new energy being. You're going to be a new energy being. Bring it all home. To bring it all into this biological form, you're going to have to rewire your nervous system. The standardized form has a dualistic nervous system. There's rest and digest. Oh, I just had a big meal. And there's fight, flight, or fawn. How you act in the world. You're either acting or resting, right? Parasympathetic, sympathetic. We cover a lot of this in the 28 days to the end of all suffering. And we covered the third nervous system in the Divine Blueprint materials, which are all on the Patreon page for the low price of $77 a month. You pay $77 a month, you have the whole archive to just dig through at your own pace. Fill in your own holes, fill in the blanks, connect the dots. La, 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 as the famous and wise Pee Wee Herman once said. Kuthumi, he just made a Pee Wee Herman joke. Guys, connect the dots. La, la, la. Anyone else want to channel Kuthumi in their body? So your job in 2025 is to bring that all in. To bring it all in, you've got to bring the nervous systems together, right? So you're acting and observing from the same place, from the central channel. From the central channel, that's Sushumna breath. Kuthumi has been inside my body helping me rewire my nervous system. So it's really interesting because you don't get that kickoff into, that you get from complete exhaustion where you just finally hit you burned everything up, all your adrenals, everything else. And then you sleep for a week. And then the next week you're, the whole thing, you stuck your finger in the electric socket. If you're embodying, you know that electric socket feeling. I once had the electric socket for 10 days. Right? No wonder I need to get a gold tooth in my back. I had grit my teeth for 9, 10 days in that electric socket. So what we're going to do as we walk you through this passageway project is also walk you through the nervous system of the magus. When I am channeling Kuthumi on these biological parts, I'm literally talking to Kuthumi who's on a walk. He's walking and talking and walking and talking, and he's on his walk, right? And while he's on his walk, he's saying, Sarah, this is what's happening in my nervous system. Let's do it in yours. So he's in his biology and I'm in my biology. Time and space are jokes that we play with. We laugh at the confines of time and space, right? So he's telling me how to do that. So this passageway project will go into that nervous system. What we also have, right, is that opening. What is that going to look like? This opening, we're going to move some people out of the near earth realms, February satsang, get them into the astral realms, get them in a full life review. We're going to get people who are souls on a journey into those causal realms, ending the reincarnation cycle, right? The ultimate goal of the Great White Brotherhood is to open up that passageway from the Ascended Masters Club to the kingdom, to Shambhala, right? The Ascended Masters Club's in the causal realm. Shambhala is a whole different reality. So there's a lot of things happening. Tobias, Tobes, as I call him, is out here on the far reaches, right? He's out here on the far reaches. So he's really working. Once the Christ consciousness comes to earth in this apocalypse that we're in right now, is there any doubt we're in an apocalypse? Right? So my job, right, is to work with you to embody consciousness. So you're in a whole new body, one that can namaste on earth and can have the capacity for the Christ consciousness and love, right? To be a being of love requires you to rewire, to hold love in this body. You cannot, the regular standardized form is not able to actually physically hold love. So there needs to be some biological adaptations. So that's my job. Kuthumi's job is somewhere around here, right? This is where Kut is. He's not in physical form in this life, but he has the physical form running around in the late 1800s that can talk to me and give me pointers on what I'm doing and make sure I'm doing it right, right? Poop out all the pain. I poop in the sunshine. I poop in the... Okay. That's another thing that was taken from us, the Kuthumi poop song. Came here first. Years later, it ended up in a CC channel. And that does not irritate me. However, just so you know that it's not us copying them. It's the other way around. You just got here late. Right? So Tobias is out here in the far reaches. So once the Christ consciousness comes to earth, he's going to be directing it to get it to the far reaches. That's what he told me. But he also has some insights in the biology stuff too. So I talked to him for 8.5 hours the other night. Okay. He's explaining some stuff to me, right? So Kut is here trying to give us advice to get the Christ consciousness in here. Descension, not ascension, descension. And he's also communicating with all of this, right? So it's almost like there's some walkie-talkies going. Kuthumi's there going, hey, Tobias, what's happening in the far reaches? I'm really close to Earth right now, and I'm looking down at these people trying to embody that, So they're communicating back and forth, right? Do you think that St. G, Kuthumi, Tobias, myself, Moria, and the others we work with in the Great White Brotherhood, do you think they all got along? Do you think they all agreed on everything? They did not. But they put all their crap aside and said, look, we need to do this. We need to get love anchored on earth through this Christ consciousness, and we're going to get it out to all of creation. We've been working on it for years. Let's put aside all our differences, right? And move on. Moria came to me in 2020 and he said, I really, really did some horrible stuff to you, Sarah. But this is what's going on now. And we really need to get it done. Will you forgive me? And I said, sure, dude. Sure. You know, I was married to him in so many different lives. We destroyed each other, right? How could you not at some point? Especially being a woman in those lifetimes. With a dude with 3 other wives that I had to deal with, humanoids. It's really annoying. No, never again. Never again. I was not made to be anybody's wife. Oh my God. So many lifetimes I had to do that. Take care of the children. Anyhow, I forgave him. But what I'm trying to say is, like, if you've ever had a problem with myself or Kuthumi or anybody else, it's like, just put it aside. We have so much shit to do. It's not even close, right? And when you start worrying about little stuff and it's all about your I identity, it's like a fuck you to God. And it gets really, really old. It's a fuck you to love, right? So, and then Saint G says he's got his passageway open for the last lifetime people to get to the Ascended Masters Club. He's done all he can do here. Now, all he wants to do is work with individuals, each and every one of you, to create a space where the Christ consciousness can shine through this body, right? So he's also here. Moria is working with one-on-one, private, with people who are allowing this full blossoming Kundalini flow up and down the spine, which creates the new human species. So that's what Moria is working on. He teaches this through Agni Yoga. You can hear him directly, or you can come do one of our programs, 3 months with the masters. It's up to you. So he teaches that through Agni Yoga. He's complete, my Kundalini is destroyed my identity as Lauren and opened me up to the big picture in ways that I would never be able to go back to the space where it's all about me. What about me? It's all about me. My needs, my wants, all my wants and needs are fulfilled doing this work, right? So they all have different stations, and there's a lot more working on this in the Great White Brotherhood. But I just want to give you a sense of what we're doing with the Passageway Project and let you know it corresponds with this nervous system. So we'll do the big picture stuff out here on the public satsang, and then in the Patreon page, I'll work with you guys on how to massage, pull apart, rewire, reprogram your nervous system. We talk a little bit about the nervous system in the Rhythm of Further book. We have it in, Kuthumi's jellyfish nervous system materials. It's in the 28 days to the end of all suffering. We have our Realmwalker channel. I'll post that publicly on Patreon. I'm starting to right. So I just wanted to tell you there's this big picture happening. All you have to do is feel into it. The realm walker part of you, stop calling it a worker and using it as your excuse for this, that, and the other. The realm walker part of you is a whimsical, fun part of you to re-embody. Get some fluidity in here. A lot of you walk around like Frankenstein's bride. Right? Get some fluidity going in the body. Get the juices flowing. Right? Start to feel into the nervous system. Where does it attach onto the spine? What is it communicating? Right? Once we get the nervous system going, then we'll get into the connective tissues. The plasma being injected into the electromagnetic grids of your biology. I have new energy physics. I have the biology. I have a whole new anatomy, physiology, and biology book for the anatomy of light. It's all on my DNA codes. Dark matter. It's in the fascia, right? The pia mater is how you reflect, refract, and absorb. We have the pia mater materials, the advanced light body notes. We're going to continue to do more. We're going to have the medulla oblongata materials, the mouth of God, this back here. The pia mater is a permeable membrane that is wrapped around your spine to protect it, but it becomes permeable as the Kundalini starts rising, and that is how you reflect, refract, and absorb the Christ consciousness. We covered reflection, refraction, and absorption in the January satsang. All of these things are running like a chapters of a book, episodes of a TV show. The one that you ever watch Friends, the titles of the Friends TV shows, the one with refraction, refraction and absorption, January, right? February. What are we doing in February? I'm getting lost. I'm just getting the dopamine boost. Okay, I'm gonna sit down. Some music's gonna come in, some non-irritating music. Let's take this down. We're just gonna sit and breathe. I'm telling you, I could spend 7 days and 7 nights, never sleep, going over the history of everything with you, catch you up, but I'll just do it. I'll just do it month by month. All right. I needed that board out. There's so much to cover. We're just getting started, guys. We are just getting started. All right, I'm going to close my eyes and let Kuthumi talk for a little bit. Kuthumi says, just take a few deep breaths. I said, in your biological vessel, underneath all the programming in your biological vessel, you know all of this. You know all of this already. You never forgot it. Any implants, headbands, trinkets, severances, any of the weird experiments that were ever programmed into this body, they all just start to come off through the fiery vibration of truth called Sosi Hoon. Sosi Hoon is a fiery vibration that shakes off each and every one of these programs, implants, chips, headbands, you name it. They just vibrate off. He uses the analogy from the Forrest Gump movie, where Forrest Gump has the leg braces on when he's a child and he starts running. He starts running and the leg braces just all break apart and come off. It's a great image, he says, of Forrest is running and the leg braces just completely bust apart and shoot out in all directions. He's saying that's what's happening to the headband, to the implant in the back of the head that kept you silent, made you obedient. It's all just coming off. You don't need to analyze it or go into it. It's just all breaking apart in this fiery vibration of truth. The fiery vibration of truth, the Sosi Hoon. It also rewires, repatterns recodes your nervous system, moving from a dual nervous system into a singular nervous system, a singular expression of God consciousness, also called the third nervous system, named in honor of Tobias's third circle of creation, a nervous system that is active and restful simultaneously, without the back and forth, the need for the release valve. He said those are the first two essential components for this passageway project and what we're doing here. But the third component is your ability to receive love. So many of you are trying to give it, to bring energy and consciousness together to bring it. But he says, first, you have to be able to receive it. So he says, close your eyes and breathe, connecting with your biological body. Feeling into this biological body, he says, what happens when he shines his unwavering, undiluted love upon you? Can you receive this love in your biological body? Are you able to receive love in your biological body? He said, notice the blocks, notice the resistance, notice what body parts don't want to receive the love. Kuthumi says, if you don't do anything else with us the rest of the month, really dive into exploring where, when, how, just the checking the weather on your ability to receive love. Oftentimes we get, harsh notes. And Kuthumi and I take a deep breath because we know someone who's in love doesn't speak that way. And anybody who speaks that way is going to be 10 times harder on themselves. So the most essential quality for all of this is the ability to receive love. The new energy comes from a reservoir that lies deep, deep within you, but it doesn't belong to anyone. And to access this reservoir, you need to be able to receive this love and this light from the great central sun of Shambhala, which is something we'll talk to you about from the Great White Brotherhood people in another transmission. We are Sarah and Kuthumi. We are love with you. You're worthy of love. You're worthy of receiving love. Sosi Hoon repatterns your nervous system to be able to handle and receive this love. If you keep the Sosi Hoon fiery vibration of truth at bay, it won't be, your body won't be prepared to handle this amount of love. The fiery vibration of truth, or Sosi Hoon, is what prepares your body to be able to receive this new light, this Christos consciousness. If you want any help in allowing the fiery vibration of truth, we have our Sosi Hoon materials. But it's truly what prepares your body for this. That's why we've been operating on this schedule, right? We did the end of all suffering. Then we did Sosi Hoon. Now we're doing the divine blueprint so you can reclaim these Realmwalker parts and pieces. You can go into this Atlantian history. We're also going into the history of the lifetimes with Yeshua. We're going into the light codes from Moses. who prepared the way for Yeshua. Moses was an incarnation of Moria. Moses held these light codes in his light body form until creating the bloodline for Yeshua to come into, right? So it's all connected. We'll continue to keep telling you and reminding you of your history. It's in your DNA. The history of everything lives in DNA. And when we connect to the history, we're connecting to the DNA strand we need to connect the biology and the light body. These are all really advanced topics. I could talk for hours. I'm going to leave it here. We are Sarah and Kuthumi. We are in love with you. Take care of yourself. And if nothing else makes sense, daily scan, where am I receiving love and where can I open up more to be able to receive more of this new light, love, Christos consciousness. I'll see you next time.